Hey guys, this is Nate Tate with Benefits by Design. I wanted to make this video to talk about when people ought to update their information at the marketplace, healthcare.gov, whatever you want to call it, and why agents tend to want to avoid that, but if you must, how to do it. So first off, why would an agent want to avoid updating anything at the marketplace? Well, the sad truth is, it is easy for things to go wrong. The marketplace application has just shy of 100 optional questions, and each of those are there for a reason, but they don't tell you. And if you're not a licensed agent with experience in the marketplace, you don't know what all these optional questions are for. You start answering them, you might get a different outcome than what you expected. The second thing you need to know as to why we prefer people to avoid filing changes is because the marketplace employees are not licensed agents. And I know it's hard to believe, but those people who are handling insurance for thousands and millions of Americans are not licensed agents. They don't know what all those optional questions do. 8 years I've been doing this, and in that time I've only met 3 employees across hundreds of calls and hundreds of hours on the phone, and only 3 employees actually knew what they were doing and how the optional questions worked. Thirdly, the reason why we want people to avoid filing changes is because it takes a whole lot of work to undo something that got messed up. And whether it was your fault, the computer's fault, or the marketplace employee's fault, or even the agent's fault, you have to file an escalation. A supervisor will send you a thing saying, please submit these documents. They don't tell you why they need the documents. They don't tell you what information they're trying to recover. They give you a list, you send in the documents. Hopefully it tells a story that they need to be told. If it doesn't, and most of the time it does not work, you then have to file an appeal. You have to find the right form online, download it, fill it out, then fax it in, and then you have to wait. And it can take up to 90 days, and it usually does. And in that time, there's no way to get a hold of the appeals department. I have never spoken to anybody from the appeals department. There is no way to contact them. They will sit there, they will look at everything. They may reach out to you. If they do, it's usually once. If they miss you, oh well, too bad, so sad. And it's, again, impossible to get a hold of them. So there's a lot that can go wrong, and if it goes wrong, it's really, really hard and a lot of work for everything to be fixed. That's why if a change must be filed, we insurance agents would prefer to do it for you so that we can make sure that it gets done right the first time. But of course, there may be times to file a change on your marketplace account. And what are those times? Well, the first one is to update contact info. That can be your address, your phone number, your email, what have you. If it's going to be that and you don't want to use an agent, I recommend you doing it yourself and not calling a marketplace employee, because they will try to answer the optional questions. And for this, you don't need to. You just go straight through, ignore every single optional question, just update those things, nothing else, and you should be good to go. Secondly, adding or dropping a person. Obviously, if you have somebody who needs to come off your insurance or who's lost coverage and needs to get back on, that's a very good reason to file a change with the marketplace. And again, we agents would be happy to help you with that. A marketplace employee might be able to get this done without issue, but again, they're going to want to ask and answer all the optional questions. And there are some that do make an impact in this. Finally, the big reason that people might need to file a change with the marketplace is regarding their income. And I use might for a reason. A lot of people think that because they filed an income estimate for the year with the marketplace, and for that reason they're getting a subsidy, that if they are not as accurate as possible, then they're going to be assessed a penalty for not being able to predict the future, and they don't do that. So for example, if you said, I think in year 2020 I'm going to make $30,000, and then you make $32,000, then they gave out a little more subsidy than they should have. But what they do is they just calculate how much more extra that they paid out that they shouldn't have, and then they add that amount and only that amount onto your taxes. And then when you pay that back, that balances things. They do not give an additional penalty to pay them for not being able to predict the future. And simultaneously, if you estimated $30,000 and you only made $28,000, then you should have gotten some more subsidy. They will calculate that up and then add that onto your taxes as a tax credit. Once again, balancing things out. Basically, I don't like to file a lot of changes of income throughout the year. And if you must, I would only do it if, my personal rule of thumb is if your new income estimate is more than $3,000 in either direction. to your original one. So if you estimated 30,000 and then you're gonna make 33,000 or 27,000 or anything beyond those two extremes, then you might wanna file a change. But if it's less than that, then probably the financial amount that you might get paid back, that you might save on premium if you are actually going to make less, or that you might have to pay them an extra, is not worth the hassle of things getting messed up and having to submit all that documentation. So I hope that helps. I know it's kind of a murky area. Again, I and other licensed agents are happy to help you navigate these waters. If you have any questions, feel free to call me, 888-913-633-4609. Have a great one.